All right, guys, Wes here. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to talk about Assassin's Creed Red. So in case you didn't know, Assassin's Creed Red is reportedly scheduled for a 2024 release date, most likely sometime in Q4, since Ubisoft has a pretty solid lineup of major releases for the first half of this year. And if you've been following the Assassin's Creed franchise for a while, then you're probably pretty excited to see them tackle this setting. Ever since the original AC trilogy, people have been asking for a ninja-themed game, and now we're finally getting it. There has been a ton of gameplay details that have leaked out about the upcoming Assassin's Creed Red, which may or may not actually be its final title. And today we're going to go over everything you may or may not have heard about this game. We're going to talk about everything from gameplay leaks to story details, characters, the open world, and more. So check the video chapters for easy viewing, and let's get into it. So Assassin's Creed Codename Red was confirmed by Ubisoft in 2022 and is going to be an open world RPG, and Ubisoft has already called it the future of their RPG games. So I expect a lot of advancements and technical leaps, as well as a much deeper gameplay and mechanics than what's previously been in the series. There was a bit of confusion amongst the Assassin's Creed community whether this game will be an open world RPG or not, especially after Assassin's Creed Mirage was a return to form stealth action game. But no, Codename Red will be another open world RPG set in a massive recreation of feudal Japan. And whenever it comes to the gameplay, a number of leaks have stated that it will follow the AC RPG formula established by Assassin's Creed Origins, but with a number of alterations to make it more advanced and also tweak it to feel a bit more natural in the feudal Japan setting. Some trusted insiders and leakers have claimed that there will be a ton of gameplay changes and additions in order to make things better suited for a ninja and also make the combat a bit more stealth focused, which will also be a nice change from the last 3 Assassin's Creed RPGs, which got a bit repetitive due to all of the direct encounters and group fights. Now, these new abilities include going prone, an enemy posture meter similar to those found in games like Sekiro, a grappling hook for better positioning and mobility, and the ability to extinguish torches so you can sneak around in the shadows and take enemies by surprise. There will also be a ton of gadgets, including but not limited to smoke bombs, kunai, shuriken, and bells. You'll also be able to intimidate enemy commanders and recruit them as spies if you choose to spare them at the end of a combat encounter. There will also reportedly be destructible environments to some degree, allowing you to alter the map to both create new routes for combat encounters and cause distractions. Anything that can be realistically broken in real life can be broken in game as long as you have the right tool. For example, if you have a knife or a sword, you'll be able to slash through a screen door or break windows, so you won't be like blowing up entire walls or buildings like in other AAA games, but it will still be an uncharted territory for the Assassin's Creed franchise, and it will lend itself nicely to being a ninja. An enemy will walk by a screen door and you'll be able to slash right through it and take them by surprise. Or maybe there will be like a patrolling enemy near a window that you break with a projectile and hold their attention that way while you sneak around. Stealth seems like the name of the game in Assassin's Creed Red because, you know, it's a ninja game, and I think the destructible environments, however limited, will contribute nicely to that. It's also been reported that some enemies will have guns, which isn't super common in the Assassin's Creed RPG games, especially as of recent, as most of the franchise has taken place in settings without firearms. But AC Red will be a bit different, as enemies around the map will have early firearms that will keep you on your toes. Sure, they won't be firing like machine guns at you or anything like that, but they can be very damaging if they hit you. So I'm sure it's probably the best option to prioritize taking the ranged enemies out first so they don't screw up the flow of your fight. It's also been confirmed that NPCs can defend themselves this time around, which will add some interesting dynamics to random encounters around the map. I doubt every NPC will be a trained ninja warrior, but it'll keep you on your toes and kind of keep you from running around slicing up NPCs with no consequences, which I guess is a good or a bad thing depending on who you are. Now, when it comes to the map and how you interact with it, the leaks have claimed the open world will be larger than Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but it will be smaller than Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which doesn't really narrow it down when you look at the map sizes of both of those games. AC Valhalla's map was around 38.5 square miles, but Assassin's Creed Odyssey's map was over 90 square miles, so it doesn't really mean much when the insiders say it's somewhere in between those two numbers. But I think the main question that people have, including myself, is just how populated will this map be? Assassin's Creed Valhalla was wildly criticized for it being bloated and grindy despite it having a much smaller map than Assassin's Creed Odyssey. If there's anything that Ubisoft can learn from other developers, like for instance Rockstar Games, it's that the map size isn't nearly as important as the map interactivity. For example, GTA 4's map is one of the smallest in the entire franchise, and yet a lot of people consider it to be the best in the series because of just how Rockstar designed the world, all of the different events, NPC placement, and side missions. That being said, the leakers also claim that Ubisoft has taken a new new approach to how they're designing the map this time around, and that AC Red's open world has been specifically designed to make exploration a key factor. They use the phrase quote-unquote map feel to describe how the player will be interacting with it, which as a player I interpret that as having a more organic experience with this game's open world than in previous Ubisoft sandboxes, which would basically just throw a bunch of icons on your minimap and just kind of tell you where everything was right out of the gate. Assuming the leaks are correct, AC Red's map is going to be much more organic and exploration based, which I think that will go a long way in making the experience inherently less grindy than the other open world AC games, and it will be a great fit for the feudal Japan theme. On top of that, the leaks have stated that Ubisoft will be using the immersive player guidance instead of map markers and excessive minimap icons, so it sounds like the criticisms of Ubisoft's sandboxes all kind of feeling samey has been taken to heart by the AC Red team, and that's a very good thing. Now, whenever I hear the words immersive player guidance, it kind of reminds me of Ghost of Tsushima, which honestly, I think that's perfectly fine and a good thing. Now, when it comes to the story for Assassin's Creed Red, we know quite a bit from a handful of leaks. It's believed that one of the two playable protagonists will be Yasuke, a real-life black samurai who is a part of the Oda Nobunaga's army. Assassin's Creed often has historical figures in their games, but this would be the first time you actually get to play as a real historical figure instead of just interacting with one. According to a trusted leaker, AC Red will portray Yasuke, a lone survivor of an attack on a slave ship, at which point he'll start fighting his way towards becoming a samurai and earning the respect of Japan. This would be a bit of an alteration from the real-life Yasuke, but it would lend itself well to a video game plot, and it would allow Ubisoft to slot in real-world stories of Yasuke into various missions and side quests. But that's not the other main protagonist in this game. You probably know that there's two, right? Well, according to insider reports and leaks, the second protagonist in AC Red is a Japanese shinobi woman whose appearance was actually leaked on accident by a Ubisoft employee, so we've gotten a good look at her, although we don't know her name. If the leaks are to be believed though, playing as Yasuke will come with a more combat-heavy focused approach, while playing as the shinobi will be more stealth-focused. Both characters will benefit a lot from playing the game stealthily, and the game is based around stealth action across the board, but the two characters will basically get buffs for certain playstyles. So if you want to get up into people's faces more and slash them into pieces, you'll likely be playing as the samurai Yasuke. If you prefer the approach of sticking to the shadows and carrying out jobs quietly, you'll likely be playing as the shinobi. Given the fact that one of the main characters is based on a real person, there's some evidence to suggest that the other will also be as well, but at this point, we just really don't know. Ubisoft will likely be holding a forward presentation in the next few months where they will likely confirm all of these things, so keep an eye out for that. Now, there has already been a ton of comparisons drawn between AC Red and Ghost of Tsushima, which kind of makes sense. Ghost is not only a beloved game, but it's also an open world game set in feudal Japan with an emphasis on stealth action gameplay. So how will Ubisoft set their world apart? The gameplay for AC Red sounds like they're going for a more exploration driven experience, which sounds a lot like Ghost of Tsushima, but I think this game will set itself apart by adding the expected Ubisoft flair and massive budget. Ubisoft games have always had a rather grand scope, so I'm expecting AC Red's map to be much bigger than Ghost of Tsushima and have a lot more NPCs with bigger cities and more crowded areas. There will likely be an emphasis on exploring the map, finding new weapons, crafting your gear, and possibly even interacting with crowds of people in major cities. Think of the classic Assassin's Creed games where you could blend in with crowds before jumping down and taking out an assassination target. There are naturally going to be a lot of comparisons drawn between the gameplay of AC Red and Ghost of Tsushima when it comes to riding around the open fields of feudal Japan, but whenever it comes to the moment-to-moment gameplay and the ongoing tasks at hand, I think the two games will be wildly different, even if it sounds like Ubisoft has been taking notes from Ghost of Tsushima for this game's world design, which, like I said, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. Ghost of Tsushima is arguably one of the best Assassin's Creed games we've had in so long, and it's not even an Assassin's Creed game. Personally, I think it's all going to come down to the insane scale and attention to detail that only Ubisoft can provide. Say what you want about Ubisoft open world games, but they are some of the most heavily detailed in the gaming industry, no matter of the setting, and even if some people find the gameplay a bit too grindy, that could actually be in Assassin's Creed Red's favor. Ghost of Tsushima and Rise of the Ronin don't focus on things that many Ubisoft games do, such as finding materials to craft awesome new weapons or find new pieces of mythology and side quests. Assassin's Creed Red sounds like a real refinement to the Ubisoft sandbox formula, while also pulling ideas from other games like Ghost of Tsushima, and that's a blend that personally sounds awesome to me. Sure, AC Red may not end up being the best and most original game in the world, but it will hopefully be the thing that reminds us all why we used to love Ubisoft sandboxes the most. But it will also blend ideas from recent open world games and utilize some combat ideas from games like Sekiro to create an experience that is basically a giant collection of awesome ideas all kind of mixed together. With Ubisoft's dedication to insane presentation and massive scope. That sounds like a winning formula to me, and more than enough for AC Red to stand out. So that brings us to the most important question: when are we actually going to see this game in action? With how much stuff there's been leaked about AC Red and just a bunch of Assassin's Creed games, I'm kind of surprised Ubisoft hasn't pushed out a trailer, but it's believed that they're planning a big Ubisoft Forward event for the first quarter of 2024, and that's when they're going to confirm all of the story details of Assassin's Creed Red, give us the actual title and name of it, because obviously they're not going to launch it as Codename Red, but Ubisoft has a lot going on this year. They got Skull and Bones coming out very soon. They have Star Wars Outlaws that I'm excited for, that fingers crossed will release either in the summer or fall. Ubisoft has said multiple times that they're planning on launching Assassin's Creed Red in 2024, so it's safe to assume it's going to be a late release, probably October or November. I seriously doubt they want to push this game back to 2025, and with how many other Assassin's Creed projects that are in development right now, because guys, if they push this game back, they'll have to push literally everything back. And with the Assassin's Creed Infinity platform reportedly launching alongside AC Red, they'll probably want to keep everything on schedule. Plus, all of the sources that have been leaking AC Red information have also stated that the game was actually in a very good state last year, so it doesn't sound like there's going to be any technical reason for this game to be pushed back. I'd expect a big reveal for AC Red at the next Ubisoft Forward presentation, and then a late 2024 release date for PC, Xbox Series, and PlayStation 5. But what do you guys think about all this? Are you excited for Assassin's Creed Red, or do you think that this is going to be just another Assassin's Creed game that kind of comes and goes without making much of an impact? I've personally been waiting for a ninja-themed Assassin's Creed game for quite a long time, and everything that I've been hearing about Codename Red has me personally more excited, but since this is a Ubisoft sandbox we're talking about, I'll reserve my final judgment until after I've gotten my hands on this game. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. What do you think the title for AC Red will be? Make sure you subscribe to the channel with your notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any future gaming news. And until next time, this has been Wes, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.